I paid for her law school, every semester, every book, every sleepless night. Then I found out she was sleeping with her professor for mentorship. That lying snake thought she was earning a future. So at graduation, I gave her a gift. A flash drive. With everything on it. She used to fall asleep on the couch with casebooks open on her chest. Highlighters in every color, tabs sticking out like tiny flags. I used to think that was grit. That she was building something for both of us. I didn't know she was building her future on my back, and on her professor's lap. Her name is Jessica Myers, 28 years old. We lived together in a 2-bedroom condo just outside Charlotte, North Carolina. I bought the place after my 3rd promotion, nothing fancy, but clean, modern, close to the law school. She loved the granite countertops. Said they made her feel successful. I paid for everything. Tuition, housing, books. Even her bar prep course, $6,000, just like that. No loans. All me. She used to say I was her silent partner. Now I know why she wanted me quiet. Jessica met Professor Daniel Rhodes her 2nd year. He was late 40s, sharp jawline, gray at the temples, Harvard smug. One of those guys who talks low and slow so everyone listens harder. I met him once, at a school mixer. He gave me that tight academic smile, like he couldn't wait to forget my name. Jessica called him her mentor. Said he was helping her with clerkship applications. Said he saw potential. Right. It started small. Cancelled dinners. Study sessions that ran late. A sudden interest in staying overnight on campus to save time on commuting. I didn't press. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. The signs stacked slowly. She changed her perfume. Started locking her phone. Said she needed space to focus. Stopped asking about my job, even though I'd just landed a director role at the tech firm downtown. It was like I'd become furniture, background noise while she played out her little academic drama. Then came the email. She left her laptop open one night. I walked past, half asleep, saw my name on the screen. Subject line, need to reschedule. BF home tonight. Sent to daniel.rhodes@law.clt.edu. I didn't click. I didn't need to. I just stood there, watching that one sentence eat through my chest. Need to reschedule. BF home tonight. So matter of fact. So casual. Like I was an inconvenience, not the men who worked 60-hour weeks to make her dream real. That night, I watched her sleep. Peaceful. Lips slightly open. Like betrayal hadn't cost her a thing. I made a decision. No confrontations. No shouting matches. She wanted quiet. I'd give her silence she could choke on. I started gathering everything. Every text, every email she forgot to delete. Her old iPad was still synced to her cloud. She never changed the backup password, my birthday. The messages were all there. You make me feel like a woman, not a student. He thinks I'm studying con law. I'm studying you. He wouldn't understand this, but God, I wish I could stay all night. She stayed all right. For nearly 6 months. While I paid for every damn cent of her future. The thing about betrayal is it doesn't scream. It seeps. Quiet. Toxic. Like carbon monoxide leaking into a sealed room. Jessica didn't just lie. She rehearsed it. Every smile, every brush of the hand, every fake, I miss you. She played the role of the grateful girlfriend perfectly, except for the nights she came home too warm, too flushed, wearing lipstick that didn't match the one she left with. She said her period was off. Stress. Hormones. Said she was too tired for anything intimate lately. She didn't stop being sexual, just stopped being sexual with me. The lies were soft. Gentle. Well-tailored. You've been working so hard lately. I don't want to distract you. I'm just overwhelmed with school. All of it was air cover, for the nights she spent getting mentored in Professor Rhodes's office. Sometimes his place. Sometimes hotels. Always funded indirectly by me. She'd talk about her dream job. Clerkships, internships, a prestigious future. And I stood there like an idiot, cutting checks and holding doors open for a woman who was already halfway out of our life. I started watching her more closely. Timing her. Tracking the hours between texts. Watching how fast she replied to me versus others. And then, one Thursday night, I followed her. She said she was going to the library. Packed her tote, kissed my cheek, told me not to wait up. I waited 5 minutes, then left through the back stairwell. My car was already parked a block away. She didn't drive to the library. She drove to a hotel near campus, a Marriott tucked just off East Boulevard. She parked. Walked in like she'd done it 100 times. She didn't even look around. 10 minutes later, Daniel Rhodes walked through the sliding doors. Same smug face. Same blazer. Same confident stride. He kissed her on the mouth in the lobby. Not like a mentor. Like a man who thought he'd won. I took a photo. Just one. Framed, time-stamped, stored. I didn't follow them in. I didn't need to. She wasn't cheating anymore. She was gone. But I wasn't. I went home and started cataloging. Every receipt. Every payment I made in her name, tuition, books, the MacBook she swore was for, note-taking, the $1,000 bar prep fee. I built a spreadsheet. Labeled everything. Then I made folders. One for the professor. One for the school's ethics board. One for her future employer, if she ever made it that far. And one for her. I wasn't going to expose her in anger. I was going to wait. For the exact right moment. And I already knew when that would be. Graduation. When she'd walk across that stage thinking she'd made it. That's when I'd hand her the flash drive. Her real diploma. She started smiling more around the house. Not at me, around me. Like she knew something I didn't. Like her double life was some private joke she couldn't stop laughing at. Her texts got warmer again. Let's do dinner this weekend. Miss you today. She even started using pet names she hadn't touched in months. I responded just enough to keep her confident. She thought she was balancing both worlds. Thought I was too buried in work, too tired, too trusting. I let her believe that. Because every move she made was feeding my file. I watched her type out messages on her phone and then flip the screen when I walked in. I stopped asking who she was texting. I already knew. She didn't know I'd installed a screen mirror app on the iPad we kept in the kitchen. She'd logged into her iMessage there months ago. Never logged out. Every text she sent from her iPhone lit up on that tablet, as long as she was on our Wi-Fi. She was always on our Wi-Fi. Her messages to Rhodes got cockier. He has no idea. It's honestly kind of hot. I think I'm going to get a clerkship from this. Told you it would pay off. He still calls me his investment. If he only knew. I was an investment, all right. But she was about to find out what happens when you short the wrong stock. I started attending her law school events. Quietly. In the background. I talked to her professors, not Rhodes, of course, but the ones who like to brag about their students. Jessica's a star, they'd say. Smart, polished, sharp. She had them fooled. Even her closest friends thought we were couple goals. One of them pulled me aside at a mixer and said, "You're such a rock for her. She talks about you all the time." Sure she did. Probably between orgasms. Every time she played the sweet girlfriend card in public, I documented it. Photos. Comments. Posts. All part of the final contrast I was building. Because I didn't just want to show what she did. I wanted to show who she pretended to be while doing it. 2 weeks before graduation, I upgraded her gift. At first, it was just going to be a flash drive with screenshots. But that felt incomplete. So I recorded a message. A video. From me. Just under 2 minutes. No yelling. No insults. Just truth. Me, sitting in our living room, the spreadsheet open behind me. I paid for your future. You paid me back in lies. This, I held up the drive, is your final grade. She had no idea. Still smiling. Still cheating. Still thanking me for supporting her dreams. But graduation day was coming. And I was going to be there, with a camera, a calm face, and the quietest execution she'd ever feel. The week before graduation, she started posting countdowns. 5 days till freedom, she wrote under a selfie, wearing her cap and gown in the mirror. Smiling like someone who thought she beat the system. Like the debt, the hours, the sacrifices didn't exist, because I had already swallowed all of it for her. That was the thing about Jessica. She never planned to pay me back. She planned to replace me. She started hinting at space again. Not yet, after graduation. A chance to breathe, she said. Time to focus on myself before I start work. I nodded. Of course. She thought I was being supportive. I was counting minutes. The night before graduation, she stayed out late. Said her section was having one last hurrah. All the professors will be there, she said. It's kind of a big deal. I asked her if Rhodes would be there. She paused. Probably. He's faculty. I watched her fix her hair in the mirror. New dress. Lipstick that didn't match the kiss she gave me on the cheek. I didn't follow her that night. I already had what I needed. Instead, I prepared the gift. I bought a small black velvet box, the kind that holds jewelry. Something subtle, professional looking. I slid the flash drive inside, placed the lid on gently, and wrapped it in tissue paper. No card. Just her name, written in my handwriting. Inside the drive, everything. Every screenshot. Every hotel confirmation. Every message with her calling me, the ATM. A copy of the tuition receipts. The synced messages from her iCloud. And my video. 2 minutes. No rage. No sentiment. Just a quiet presentation of everything she'd done. I also added a PDF titled, Memo to Rhodes's Department. She'd understand it the moment she opened the folder. I saved 2 copies, one for her. One for the school. The next morning, she woke up glowing. Twirled in front of me, cap crooked, eyes bright. Wish me luck, she said, holding her arms open. I hugged her. Said, I'm proud of you. And I meant it. Not because she'd earned it. But because she was walking into the last stage of the lie, and she had no idea the floor was about to vanish. We drove to the ceremony together. Sat through speeches, applause, all the carefully scripted nonsense of new beginnings. Then it was her name. Jessica Myers. She walked the stage, smiling, shaking hands. She looked out into the crowd and waved, right at me. I waved back. She never saw what was in my lap. The velvet box. Her real graduation gift. And the start of her undoing. After the ceremony, the lawn outside the auditorium turned into a photo pit. Parents, professors, hugs, fake tears. Jessica fluttered through the crowd like a star, clutching her diploma, shaking hands, kissing cheeks. When she finally found me, her smile stretched ear to ear. We did it, she said, arms outstretched. I handed her the box. Your real gift, I said. She looked confused for a second. It was too small to be jewelry, too plain for sentiment. She opened it anyway. Saw the flash drive. Lifted it with 2 fingers. What is this? Something to help you reflect. I leaned in. Might want to open it somewhere private. Then I kissed her cheek and walked away. Left her standing there, in her cap and gown, holding a black box and nothing else. She didn't call that night. But I watched the iCloud activity. At 10:42 p.m., the flash drive went live. At 10:47 p.m., the video played. At 11 p.m., she tried to call. I didn't answer. She sent 4 texts. What the hell is this? You had no right. This isn't what it looks like. We need to talk. Please. Then silence. The next day, I sent the backup folder to the law school's ethics board. I included one paragraph. This is not a personal attack. This is a pattern of abuse by a professor with power over his student, facilitated knowingly and used to secure professional favors. I am requesting an internal review under the school's policy on faculty-student relationships. The school's policy was clear. No sexual or romantic engagement between faculty and current students. Period. 2 days later, Jessica received an email from the board. 3 hours after that, Daniel Rhodes was placed on administrative leave, pending investigation. I never heard her scream. But I didn't need to. She stopped posting. Stopped texting. Just disappeared. I heard through one of her classmates, a girl who once called me future husband material, at a Halloween party, that Jessica had withdrawn her name from 2 clerkship interviews. Rumors were already swirling. Something about inappropriate faculty conduct. Something about digital proof. Something about getting played at her own game. She tried to delete her LinkedIn. Didn't matter. The screenshots were already in the hands of the people who needed to see them. She wanted to climb over me to get where she was going. Instead, she stepped on a landmine I built with my own hands. And the only thing left to say was, "Congratulations, counselor. Welcome to the real world." By the end of that week, Jessica's life looked like the broken shell of everything she'd built, or thought she had. Her name was quietly pulled from the law school's Outstanding Graduates newsletter. The photo of her shaking hands with the dean disappeared from the school's homepage. No announcement. No explanation. Just erasure. I kept my distance. Didn't respond to her calls. Let the fallout speak for itself. Rhodes tried to fight it, of course. Claimed the relationship began post-semester. That it was consensual. That she wasn't under his direct supervision at the time. But the texts, her own words, told a different story. "He'll give me the clerkship letter if I keep this between us. He said he's risking everything. I told him not to worry, I've got Don wrapped around my finger." I sent those directly to the university's legal affairs office. They replied within 24 hours. "Thank you for your detailed report. Your materials have accelerated an ongoing review." I didn't know there was an ongoing review. Guess I wasn't the first. But I might be the last. Jessica, meanwhile, tried to pivot. She emailed me. "You made your point. Please stop. I don't deserve this." I didn't answer. Not because she didn't deserve it. But because she did. All of it. She tried a softer angle a few days later. "What we had was real. I just lost my way. Can we talk?" I read it once, archived it, and moved on. There was nothing left to discuss. She betrayed me in the most calculated way possible, weaponized my love, my support, my money, and slept her way into what she thought was power. But that's the thing about shortcuts, they leave tracks. The flash drive I gave her didn't just contain her fall. It was a mirror. One she couldn't look away from. Her parents called me a week later. We'd spoken a few times in the past, holidays, birthdays. Her mother had once cried while thanking me for believing in Jess. This time, the call was short. "I don't know what happened," her father said. "But she's not well." I almost said, "She was never well. You just weren't looking." But I didn't. I just listened. Then hung up. 2 weeks later, Rhodes resigned. Quietly. No scandal, no press, just a quiet announcement buried in a faculty newsletter. Pursuing other opportunities. Code 4, burned the wrong bridge. And Jessica. Her seat in the clerkship program went to someone else. Someone who hadn't used sex and lies as currency. Last I heard, she was temping at a small paralegal office in Hickory. No benefits. No courtroom. No future. She made herself small, not because she was sorry. But because she had nowhere else to go. I didn't plan to see her again. But sometimes, silence isn't enough. Sometimes they need to see what you look like when they can't reach you anymore. 3 weeks after Rhodes resigned, the law school hosted a private alumni reception, mostly for networking, mostly for show. I was invited because of the tech firm's scholarship donation. A fluke. I RSVP'd. She was there. Hair darker now. Less makeup. Black dress, simple heels. Smaller somehow. She didn't see me at first. She was standing near the back, drink in hand, talking to no one. Not the center of the room anymore. Not a star student. Just a name people muttered and quickly changed the subject. When she finally looked up and saw me, her face froze. She didn't smile. Didn't wave. She walked over. "Don," she said. Quiet. Controlled. I just looked at her. She waited a moment. "Then, I want to talk. Just one conversation." I finished my drink, set the glass down, and nodded. "Okay." She looked surprised, hopeful, even. Like maybe, just maybe, there was still a window to crawl through. We stepped outside into the cool night. She started talking fast. A rehearsed apology. Blaming stress. Confusion. The pressure of law school. How Rhodes manipulated her. How she felt lost and unseen. I listened. No interruptions. When she finished, she asked, "Do you believe me?" I said, "I believe you believed it would never catch up to you." She flinched. I stepped closer. "But it did. And you weren't lost, Jessica. You were strategic. Calculated. You weighed the odds and thought I was the safest one to betray." She started to speak. I held up a hand. "I'm not angry anymore. I'm not broken. I'm not interested." She looked like she might cry, but I knew the difference now, between real pain and self-pity. "I gave you everything," I said. "And you repaid me with humiliation. You made me a fool so you could play queen for a man who saw you as a weekend." Her lip quivered. "I didn't mean." "But you did. You meant every word. You meant to take what you wanted and leave me behind. And now you want closure." I stepped back. "This is closure." Then I turned and left her standing there. Alone. Northwest Flash Drive. No cameras. Just the truth, and every empty space she'd carved out with her lies. 3 days later, I got the email. Subject line, request to remove shared content from flash drive. It was from Jessica's new email, not her old .edu address. The tone was professional. Cold. Like she was trying to crawl back under the skin of control. She claimed the material on the flash drive violated personal privacy, that it was disseminated with intent to harm, and that she would appreciate cooperation in removing all stored data. I didn't respond. My lawyer did. All materials collected were obtained through legal means, from devices jointly owned or publicly accessible by both parties during the relationship. No content was shared with the public. No action required. She didn't reply. Instead, her LinkedIn disappeared. Again. She stopped posting on Instagram. The version of Jessica that lived online, sharp, smiling, upwardly mobile, was gone. What remained was what she always hid, someone who rose on shoulders, not merit. Rhodes. His name showed up on a law blog a few weeks later, resigned amid scrutiny, working now in some firm 3 states away, likely hoping no one Googles too hard. But they always do. I got a letter from Jessica's mother not long after. Handwritten. Real ink. Unsteady script. "We don't know what to say. We raised her better than this. I'm sorry for what she did to you." It was the most honest thing I ever got from their family. I didn't write back. There's nothing noble in revenge. But there is satisfaction in the clean cut, no yelling, no begging, no second chances. Just quiet removal. I changed my number. Sold the condo. Bought a house just outside Asheville, smaller, high up, with silence that wraps around you like a blanket. The flash drive. I keep it in a locked box. Not because I want to watch it. Because I never want to forget what deception looks like when it smiles at you and says thank you. Sometimes I get emails from other grads. People who knew her. They don't say much, just quiet things. "She really messed that up. I had no idea. You handled it with class. Rhodes was always a creep. I don't need applause. Just the space to breathe. I built that space, brick by digital brick. She used law school to climb. She thought I was the ground. Turns out, I was the trapdoor. And now, she's exactly where she belongs. Below it. The box still sits on the top shelf of my closet. I don't open it. I don't need to. It's not a trophy. It's a reminder of who I became when she showed me what she really was. Some people call what I did revenge. It wasn't. It was closure, written in the language she understood, receipts, records, reality. Not rage. Not violence. Just facts, timed to precision. She taught me something, in the end, not about betrayal, but about clarity. That people don't fall. They reveal. Jessica never slipped. She walked into it eyes open, thinking she was untouchable. Thinking I'd always be the man waiting with open arms, open wallet, open silence. But I changed. Somewhere between her first lie and that velvet box, I turned cold. Not bitter. Just done. I stopped needing explanations. Stopped needing her to say she was sorry. She could apologize 1,000 times, it wouldn't change what she chose to be when I wasn't watching. She thought I'd fall apart. Instead, I erased her with the same precision she used to climb. Now. I come home to a house that holds no lies. No staged affection. No lipstick that doesn't belong to me. The mornings are quiet. The air feels different. Lighter. I drink coffee alone. Uninterrupted. Undisturbed. And when graduation season rolls around again, I think about the smile on her face that day, right before I handed her the truth. She thought it was a gift. She was right. It was the last one she'll ever get from me. And the one she'll never forget.